Good morning, guys, and welcome back. Yes, back to Island Gaming with PG. So, we just have a couple of news stories for you guys today. First up, we have the Nintendo Switch sales report in Japan for the fiscal year. And then we'll talk about how Sony chose to implement VRR to their PS5 consoles. It appears that PS5 has the bargain bin type of VRR, but we'll talk about it. So let's get right into the news. First up, Nintendo has been signed to DJ Khaled music firm because all they are doing right now in Japan is well, yes, it appears that Nintendo can't stop winning when it comes to the sales in Japan. Now, Go Nintendo reported that when it comes to Japanese hardware sales, Nintendo is leading the pack. They sold from March 2021 to March 2022 over 5 million Switches. The PS5 was able to sell 917,000 units, while the Xbox Series console sold over 124,000 units. That report goes on to say that the Switch is nearing the 30 million units sold in Japan milestone, and let's believe that the Switch will match, if not surpass, total DS sales in Japan. That is over 32 million units. Now, when it comes to the differences in software sales, this is where the Switch is showing its dominance. Because in Japan, in that fiscal year, Nintendo Switch sold over 21 million units when it comes to software. Take a guess how many units PlayStation 5 sold when it comes to software. Only 1 million units. When it comes to the PS4, they sold 3.7 million units of software. Now, the top 10 software in Japan, all the slots belong to the Nintendo Switch. There is not even one PlayStation or Xbox game that is made it into the top 10 when it comes to software in Japan. So it's very clear that Nintendo is the undisputed champion in Japan when it comes to selling consoles and software. So do you think, what does Sony need to do to beat Nintendo in Japan? Do they need to release a new handheld? What about Xbox, what they can do to increase their sales? Well, we'll have to wait and see, but it's very clear that Nintendo is the undisputed champion right now in Japan. Let's talk a little bit about the PS5 and this issue that they are having with the variable refresh rate, VRR. Now, let me start off by saying that any PlayStation 5 owner should be happy that they are getting VRR to the console. Throughout the generation, Sony has, or the PS5 has received a number of different wins. For example, one I could just think about is the SSD that they have. Their SSD is loading games a little faster than a Series X. So, they have received a number of wins so far for this generation. So they shouldn't be angry if their VRR is not as good as the Series X. So right now, how could one understand what is a VRR? Well, I have a little read up here. It says, variable refresh rate is an increasingly common feature supported by many of the best TVs and allows for a much smoother on-screen gaming experience. The feature is a solution to screen tearing, which occurs when your TV's image refresh rate is out of sync with the game you're playing. It goes on to say, have you ever noticed a section of the image lag behind another, as if it's being sliced in half? Whether you adjust the camera angle, that's screen tearing in action, and it's what variable refresh rate can eliminate entirely. So it came out that the PS5 implementation of VRR is not as good as the Series X or PC. So to clear things up, let's have our friend John explain why the PS5 version of VRR is not as good. He would explain it better. John?
On here is they've implemented VRR in a very standard way, if you will. It's essentially the HDMI forms VRR specification, but they have not gone the extra mile to implement any additional features, which we will discuss here, which means that you essentially have two modes of operation. When you're outputting 60 Hertz via the PS5, you have a range of 60 frames per second down to 48 frames per second. If you're outputting 120 Hertz, the ceiling becomes 120, but the floor remains 48. And fundamentally, that is the big issue with this implementation, I feel. There is no low frame rate compensation below 48 frames per second. So the second you hit that sort of floor, your display basically kicks back into a non-VRR mode. Not actually switching modes, but you lose the benefits of VRR, right?
So there you have it, guys. He said it. He basically, to sum up what he said there, is that because the PS5 did not cater for low refresh rates lower than 48, the VRR that they implemented is having issues and problems because there are a lot of games that go below 48 frames. So he even went to say that the Xbox has a better VRR than the PlayStation 5. So, you know, Sony 5 fans need to take it down a bit. They can't win everything. Yes, it would have many features that they do better than the Xbox Series consoles, and it would have features that the Xbox Series consoles do better than the PS5. So take this L, ponies, and chill. So what do you guys think? Do you guys think that this means anything? Do you guys think that you know, consumers would go for the box instead of the PS5 because of this? Please let me know in the comment section. So that brings us to the end of this video, guys. Please like and subscribe for more gaming news and discussions. Later.